Welcome back, Vertafore fam. I have some exciting news for you today. We are introducing a new host to the Vertafore Insurance podcast. You might know him from around the industry, Heath Sheeran. He has been on the agency side, he's been on the carrier side of things, he's been on the consulting side, helping agencies lead change within their businesses, and now he joins us at Vertafore. I'm excited to bring on a different host because it will introduce a fresh perspective. He's going to dig into some of these topics, leaning into different angles of the conversation than what you might have heard with me as the host. So, without further ado, we've got some awesome content for you guys lined up. Let me introduce Heath Sheeran.
Where is InsurTech headed next? This is where indie agents own the answer. Welcome to the Vertafore Insurance Podcast. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome to the Vertafore Insurance Podcast, where we talk all things InsurTech and what's going on in the indie insurance agency world. And I'm excited today to have a special guest in Becky from Coterie. She will be joining me today in a conversation that I'm excited about personally. We're talking about commercial insurance and commercial submissions and how Coterie relates to all of that. And so I'm excited about that. Becky, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about you and tell the audience a little bit about you for a minute and how you got to Coterie, what Coterie's about if people don't know a lot about Coterie.
Yeah. So first I'll start with why you guys are really here, and that's to learn about Coterie. So Coterie is a small commercial MGA, but for the most part, we look, act, and feel like a carrier. We are an InsurTech. We do a lot of really great things, but our kind of claim to fame is super easy submissions, using a lot of underwriting data and trying to get quotes, bindable quotes, in the hands of our agents within minutes, if not even faster with seconds, trying to get to that 2-question commercial lines underwriting. Myself, I am I would say insurance from the day I graduated college, which was not for insurance, which was for education, honestly. I live in Wisconsin. I was a commercial lines, worked at a commercial lines agency for the first 8-9 years of my career. So being a champion for agencies is very near and dear to my heart. Moved on in my career to the carrier side. So as a commercial lines underwriter, then got excited about distribution and sales. So kind of took my carrier career to the sales side, where I got to meet a ton of different agents, lots of regions, experience, and then had an awesome opportunity to join Coterie as right now the VP of digital distribution. It took me about a solid year under my belt to learn really all things digital, but I've been passionate about InsurTech. Actually, my first InsurTech kind of gig or knowledge was when I was at the agency, 9 years ago. And they put me on a project to kind of vet out this commercial line submission center with an InsurTech that's actually no longer. But I was also a Vertafore AMS 360 user at that time too. So super familiar with that process, and actually went through transformation and all of that to change to AMS 360. So not only am I a user, but also a fan, and now I get to work with your team on the commercial line submission center.
That's exciting, first of all. I love to hear that. Second of all, I got a lot of things to unpack I want to get into. First of all, nobody chooses insurance. Nobody just says when they get out, hey, I can't wait to be in insurance. So it doesn't surprise me that you fell into it. We all did. I'm second generation, and I tried to get out of it, and here I am still in it, 20 years later. So
yeah. Aren't you always a little suspicious for those people who said they went to school for insurance or wanted to be in insurance?
Yeah, exactly. Something a little off from those people. So I get it. Also, tell me a little bit, I love where our industry is headed and what we're doing, and we're finally starting to catch up a little bit with other industries. And when you talk about your title being in digital distribution, some people listening to this may not even know what that means. So talk to me what that means to you. What does the Director of Digital Distribution mean?
Yeah, so at Coterie, or many of us, typically when you think of distribution, I think of Amazon, but
sure, we all do. Yeah,
many people in the insurance space are trying to kind of take that step from like marketing a rep or sales rep to distribution as kind of a title. So how do you deploy your products? What connections are you making? And so really digital distribution is I partner with all people API. So all people, really integrated partners that are wanting to use truly technology to deploy and to get our product to more agents. We have embedded plays, a lot of different spaces. So anything that's truly like an embedded deep connection kind of runs through myself and my team.
Yeah, and that's another interesting, story to get into as well, is talking about embedded. And that's what a lot of people are, some people are a little scared of it, some people are excited about it, some people don't know what it means. And so I relate it to when I buy my cell phone and they, automatically they offer me, the insurance on my phone, and I think about it that way. Or when I go rent a car. But as far as Coterie goes and in the commercial independent channel, what does that look like, and what do you see that looking like, and how does Coterie fit into that?
Yeah, so I guess for us, we really started out in that embedded play as
nice.
As an insurtech. So we had our products on kind of those point of sale purchases. So if you were doing, a project based, or if you were doing, maybe you were, I'm just using this as an example, if you were a payroll company, right, and you needed insurance, that type of embedded play. So that's how we started, very bluntly, and then we realized, who's the best at selling insurance, and who's best at servicing insurance is agents. And so the majority of our distribution plants and our partners really are independent agents. But what we do differently is we bring them the capability to deploy insurance really digitally. So if an agent partner came to me and said, hey, I would love to have your product fully embedded on my website, so that the small commercial stuff can be very low touch, high volume. I want to drive leads. How can I do that? And we'd say, sure, let's talk about how to make that partnership work. Kind of the second piece of that is just a lot of the embedded plays now are powered by an agent. So when you think about like Amazon sellers, kind of that e-commerce space, sure, they can buy insurance, but there's an agent behind the scenes, right, to make sure that they're in compliance, that they're there to help, give them the service and the certificates that they might need. So that's really where Coterie excels.
Yeah, I could see that again as, commercial is moving more towards niches and verticals and things that nature. I could see that really being helpful. So as far as most verticals that I see in that space are, trucking is the first one I think of. And so I'm sure you guys are involved in some of that. And then, maybe it's hospitality. Sometimes people get into churches, or sometimes people get into specific niches. Is that kind of where you're headed, and what's going on with, embedded for that?
I think there's certainly those capabilities, but right now, honestly, our main appetite focus is very, I would say, traditional Main Street business. So we do write some unique classes, some more new venture type business. We're great at restaurants, but really we of the 20,000 6-digit NAICS codes that are out there with descriptions, we're really focused on about 5,000 of those, but broad appetite. So we're not looking at necessarily trucking. We're really focused on small BOP, GL, professional lines. So give me a hairdresser, write those all day long.
Yeah, a good hairdresser, a good bakery maybe, or maybe something of that nature. It makes sense. And that's one of the things I love about Coterie is, a lot of those are smaller accounts, smaller premiums. And so if you have a lot of high touches on those, agencies are losing money there. So you're able to come in and help, bring more revenue into the agency by less touches. So tell me a little bit about that and what that looks like. And agents that are listening to this right now, tell me about that.
Yeah. So really, our experience, if you were to kind of come to us as just a traditional agent, independent, wanting to come to our portal and quote, we've really streamlined the quoting process to be name and address. And then behind the scenes, we're filling in with all of our data that we've scrubbed, done some reliability modeling on, really trying to fill in those items. So the agent themselves has less questions to ask, more questions to verify, right? So we're going to say our data sources show they have 1 million in sales. You say, hey, Mr. Customer, I've got a quote already showing 1 million in sales. What are your sales? They might say, yep, right, spot on. They might say, actually, we're growing, make that 1.5 million and then make that adjustment. But really all those extra questions are eliminated. And so when you look at an Accord 125, you see all the yes, no questions that usually are not even relevant, to the business at hand. So they're asking a lot of, details about financials, which are important. I think one of the questions, if I'm thinking about a GL form, it's been a while since I filled one out, but they're asking about race car sponsorships. And
right.
When you think of a retail bakery that has 2 employees, we could probably assume they're not doing any sponsorship for professional sports at that point in time. Any significant sponsorship, right? Besides maybe having their name on a fence at the high school baseball team, something like that. So we're trying to take all that extra unnecessary bulk and really make predictive quotes for agents to be able to take that and bind within minutes. And by bind, I mean no supplemental after the fact, no extra questions or, hey, I've got this teaser quote for you. It's truly a bindable quote within minutes, pay online. Exact pages are emailed. They're not, having to get this packet in the mail that you then, maybe put your agency name on and send out. It's truly as digital as we possibly can make it.
Wow. So that does make things that much quicker. And so from start to finish, do you have an average time that it takes someone, a CSR, an account manager, a producer from start to finish?
It should be less than 2 minutes.
Less than 2 minutes. That's incredible.
Yes.
That is absolutely incredible. And so, as you mentioned, you're an MGA, and so you guys don't have the pen for anything, the stuff that you guys write. But what are some of the main carriers you guys work with? If you wanted to give a few shout outs out there.
Yeah, so we have great partnerships with our 3 fronting carriers, which are Spinnaker, Benchmark, and ClearSpring. They've done a great job with allowing us to, give us the capacity to kind of develop some of our own programs, file, and really use the technology to power everything that we do. So those are the 3 carriers. They're all A rated or better.
And so as you talk about using data to do this data obviously that's coming straight from the agency management system that they use. And as we get into, you guys coming onto our commercial submissions platform, how seamless is that? And is that how you guys are doing that? Is based on the data they already have in their system?
So the third-party data that we're typically using is not agent entered necessarily, but it's third-party data sources. So public sources. We scrub websites.
Okay.
We do all of that to kind of backfill information on the back end. However, if they were to come in from commercial submissions, which is essentially where they built that submission to fill out an Accord form, we would just take that information and it just essentially transfers that. So we know that they have the right information, right? And we trust our agents. We might backfill some, protection class information or hazard type information, but really taking that data they enter in commercial submissions and provide a quote.
Yeah, I wonder how often you guys see that you may have to assist in getting correct class codes or correct data in there, as people may try to manipulate that kind of information out there.
Yeah, for the most part, I think especially with our agents, we do have some agents that have more public facing, customer facing, where they just don't know how to class their business, right? To them, they're a handyman, but in fact, they're doing roof repair, right? So we, as an insurance industry, would think of that as roof repair, whereas the person doing that work, might take odd jobs and class themselves as a handyman. So we do some behind the scenes checking for those types of exposures. but then we do have some post-bind audit and reviews. So there's certain classes that we're not sure on. We might look into those specific risks if needed, but for the most part, we really try to trust our agents, and that they're going to get the information to us that we need in order to give them the fastest quote possible. I mean, let's be real. Nobody likes having to deal with something after they bind it, right? So nobody wants to touch it. We don't want to touch it. The agent doesn't want to touch it, especially when it comes to classification. So we on our quote system, if you were to come in, again through our dashboard with the name and address, we predict which class code we think it is. So we give the agent some direction to say, hey, we think it's commercial bakery. And then they say yes or no. So if it's maybe a deli, they have that opportunity to change it, but we kind of give them a hint, right, of what we think it might be in our dashboard.
Okay, and so right now with the way that commercial and our insurance industry is, with rates going up so high and people being so concerned with renewals, are you seeing people using Coterie more and more now for small commercial when it comes to retention and renewals and battling that hard market that we're in?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, even in the small business space, right? People are shopping, rates are going up. Why not look for better pricing? And so we are seeing, we're definitely at an all-time high when it comes to quotes, price, premium growth. Super excited about that. We also have some really awesome capabilities around bulk quoting. So if there was an agency that said, hey, this book of business is giving me trouble, or hey, I have this prospect list, what can you help me with? We're certainly able to kind of grab that and send it through the machine itself and say, hey, this is the pricing we think you could have for this, either this opportunity for new business or for your renewal book if there's problems there. So that's another solution that we're trying to provide for our agents.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so again, as it goes back to the commercial submissions, as far as you guys joining that platform, a lot of carriers, a lot of MGAs might be a little hesitant to jump on that platform. And so I wonder why you guys chose to do so, and what was your play there?
So for us, I know some MGAs, some carriers in general, when they think about submission centers or competitive raters, are very hesitant because they're like, hey, my agent already knows to come to me. Why can't they just come to me? And for us, we want to be where our agents want to do business.
Amen.
What they live and breathe and work in their AMS systems. So why not, right? Why not give them that opportunity? Why make them come to us separately and quote, whether it's the renewal that needs a remarket or a new business? Really, we just want to be there to support our distribution force. We know that Vertafore is one of the leading the AMS systems in the US and probably beyond. And so for us, it just made sense. We have the capability. You have the capability. We know that you guys also have great data and information. Why not partner? Really, there was no reason not to support our agency force. I'm also super excited that you guys are bringing this to agents to try to streamline their processes and make the quoting experience easy for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Your check's in the mail as far as all that goes. So I appreciate the kind words, because we're pretty excited about that as well. And again, you talk about processes and you talk about, what that experience looks like. I think that's a huge part of, where we are as an industry right now, and creating a great customer journey. And so as you're talking to thousands of agents right now, listen to this. What could you give them as advice goes for that, and what that looks like in your eyes, and how they could use Coterie or commercial submissions to help that?
Right. So when I just think, especially in the small commercial space, but really this expands to how you market your business. The time you spend entering data is not high value add, right? So transferring it from one computer system to another is not making you money. It is also not the best use of your highly intelligent team members' time. And so I just really encourage you to look at your processes and say, where are my, again, highly intelligent, people's time best spent? For your salespeople, it's selling, right? It's making those connections, driving relationships. For your CSRs, it's keeping those relationships viable, doing, having those conversations, guiding the insured, acting as an advisor. Entering data for new business or for remarkets is probably not the best use of anybody's time. And in fact, especially in small commercial, half of these policies are smaller than a personal lines policy. When we think about all the automation that's there, this is kind of a next step in my mind. But really trying to coach and use technology, like that's what I think about is like the implementation of this, right? So you're trying to change behavior when you use something like commercial line submission center. So you're trying to get people to use this instead of old habits, right? So that might be coming to Coterie. That might just be, if you're going to shop this small commercial account, rates are going up. Why are you entering this in 7 different systems when you could use one?
No, you're exactly right. And you're hitting on something that I'm going to try not to go off on a soapbox here and get too excited. But
I love your soapbox.
well, when you talk about, and I'm a big believer, and so are we at Vertafore, in the relationships in this industry. And when you talk about change management and you talk about the way things have always been done, and so many of the experienced account managers or producers or agencies that have been around think that, oh no, this is going to replace me as a staffer, or this is going to replace me as this. And we try to, teach and talk about this is only going to enhance your relationships, and help you to be able to build those relationships and let us do all of the other work. And it sounds like you guys at Coterie, believe the same way. And it's a great, hand in glove relationship there to be able to say, we're here for the same reason, to be able to help you to build those relationships and let us and the technology do all of the rating and the quoting and the, eliminating of duplicate entry and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the, I guess, pieces of advice that I've said is like trying to tell your teams this is something we're doing for you, not something we're doing to you.
Yes.
And just, really coaching them on saying like, this is going to help us. And these are the things that I want you to spend your time and energy on, which is like nurturing and cultivating relationships and, doing all those value add activities, not necessarily data entry and processing.
Yeah, be able to tell your staff to say, hey, would you rather be doing stuff to help you build a relationship, getting more involved in the community or spending time on the phone or whatever it might be, nurturing, as you mentioned, or would you rather be doing data entry? I would think most of them would rather be doing the more exciting and fun things and building those relationships to help cement that, especially in a hard market when relationships are crucial.
Yeah. And we all know too, even on the small business, like that account, like we're hoping, right? We're all cheering for them to grow, to create more revenue for the agency for us. And so, having that time to help them really bring value and risk management to their business as well is really where, we want our agents to be able to focus, and we're enabling them to do that.
Yeah, that brings up another good point as far as, going back to small commercial and what you guys are doing. Is there a certain place where that account grows to where it maybe outgrows Coterie, or is it an area where you guys can continue to grow and take larger accounts as they grow?
Right now, I would say we're uber focused on the micro commercial, but really that micro commercial is revenue up to $10 million, right? So it's small commercial, but that's not, if anyone's has a $10 million revenue business, there's definitely some premium there. But at this point in time, I'd say we're definitely focused on the small commercial. But who knows, that's today, right? And in InsurTech and in this space, and as we look for more capacity, just to be able to do more things, who knows where that might take us.
Yeah, and so as of right now, you guys are doing more than just bots, correct?
Bot, GL, and professional.
Okay, so is the professional a newer thing, or is that something you guys have always been doing?
We've always been, since I've been at Coterie, it's always been on the lineup. It's probably maybe a tenth of what we do, so not as much, but it's also another step for people to sell and also for people to buy. So, people tend to be a little bit more hesitant sometimes on, oh, I don't think I need that, or my bank isn't making me get that, or my landlord's not making me get that. So the professional is something that is a bit newer to us.
Okay, and so as far as the BOPs go, and some of these are there other lines that you see coming out, whether it be auto or maybe even a cyber or any other kind of coverages you guys foresee coming out in the future with this Coterie?
We're kind of consistently exploring that and trying to figure out how can we help and best support our agents. Excitingly, we are, ourselves, we're actually trying to roll off our legacy system, which is, 2 to 3 years old. It's not very old. So making ourselves able to build more products is really what we're looking for. So we're definitely taking that feedback. We've done a beta test on work comp just to see like how much our appetite aligns with the market. So I would say like stay tuned. You definitely, there's going to be great things coming from Coterie with all lines, looking to expand.
Awesome. And so anything else as far as that goes that you would like to discuss, or anything else that you might peel back the curtain on as far as that goes before we start to wrap up a little bit?
Overall, I would just say like with Coterie, give us the shout. We'd love to talk. If you're using the commercial lines submission center at Vertafore, love to see some activity, like try us out. It's really simple to get set up. We're happy to have those discussions. And so we'd love to just test and learn and grow more with that. So the more that we get feedback from our agents on commercial line submissions, the more we can do. And really looking forward to working with the team at Vertafore to just continue to explore that as well. The data will typically tell the story of, how can we help? What can we do better? And love to just kind of take next steps from there. I guess my question from you is, what do you think agents want when it comes to that?
Again, I think, in my opinion, what you guys are doing right now is exactly what people are looking for, and that is a way to make the process that much easier and quicker. And again, a lot of times in small commercial especially, it's a lot of times first one in is first one out, and the first one out is the one that may get the business, especially on small commercial. If you're talking about a $1,000 BOP, if you can get that out pretty quickly, I think you're going to be the one to get the business. And also what you guys are doing, eliminating keystrokes, I think that's huge. And so to be able to do that and lead in that and be an early adopter in that, I think that's huge.
And, honestly, when it comes to those, hot last minute opportunities that every agent gets to know on a Friday afternoon in the summer, where you might say, oh, let's just wait till Monday. You can do that with Coterie, get the quote out the door in minutes, save those keystrokes, offer that quick speed to your prospects or to your customers. But also 30% of our business is bound same day. So I think that's just a good story to tell that you're, you don't have to wait around weeks, months, days, or even hours for the submission once you get that sent over.
Yeah, I think you tell a story that a lot of people listening probably resonate with, which is that phone call you get at 4:00 on a Friday before you go into the weekend. That's, hey, I've got this account. I need to have this done. Can you help me? I opened my business on Monday, or I opened this morning.
I'm closing, right? Closing on my business on Monday. Right. Usually what happens. Yeah.
And so for you guys to be able to help in that, I don't know how many times that myself even, I had to walk away from some of those because there's just no way I could. If I put it on my account manager's desk, she was going to do bad things to me. And so I was like,
or she'd be like, you have no information here. What are you doing?
100%. And that's another thing I love to hear as far as the data goes. And, you guys getting all that behind the scenes data, that helps a whole lot as well. So going back to your question to me, I think that's something that's going to help a lot too, because that back and forth of, I need this. And then you got to call back 3 other times to get more data because of the supplemental that you had to fill out or whatever. So I think that's massive as well. So thank you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's all, it's what we do here, and always looking to get better and grow. And that's the other awesome thing I would say just about working at Coterie. There's our ability to adapt and change and listen to feedback. For being a startup, we have a group of agents that we call on a biweekly basis to give us feedback, to tell us what do you need, what can we do. We're listening directly to the customers to try to build out those capabilities, which are our agents. So we're really excited to keep bringing more I guess fuel to the fire.
Yeah, I love that you guys are trying to stay in touch with the agent and trying to make sure you stay connected and, keep your thumb on the pulse, so to speak, your finger on the pulse. If someone wanted to reach out, and get to know more about Coterie or get to know about what they could do to join, up at Coterie or get a contract, so to speak, how could they reach out? How could they find you? How could they find the website, whatever that may be?
Yeah, so we have a great intake process overall on our website. So it's just coterieinsurance.com. We have, a lot of information out there, which is like become a partner, become an agent. So I would start there. Otherwise, I'm happy to have our reach out to myself directly. So it's Becky Monfrey or Becky.Monfrey at coterieinsurance.com. Again, I believe we could, definitely try to just have a quick chat, but the website's probably the best way just to get you to the right person, since, my schedule's so busy with lovely podcasts like this.
There you go.
But I would just rather, I think that would be the best possible turnaround. And we have a team that's truly dedicated to onboarding agents. And so they are efficient and they are fast and they love talking to agents. So I'd love to have them reach out to that team.
Awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out and joining me today. And I appreciate everything you shared with us. And I look forward to future partnerships and growing our channel with commercial submissions with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Love what you heard? Listen, don't stop here. We know you don't want to. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube if you love watching, and get notified as soon as new episodes come out weekly. Let's go.